Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على نبيه ومصطفاه سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. We'll praise you to Allah alone. We praise Him and we seek His help. Whomsoever Allah guides, no one can mislead. And whomsoever Allah leaves alone, none can guide. Brothers and sisters, welcome to another live edition of your program, Ask Huda. Our phone numbers begin with the area code 0020238555249 and or 00201125086, actually 8679. And the email addresses are ask@huda.tv and gardens@huda.tv. Barakallahu feekum. We have some very interesting questions I would begin with by the time you start ringing in, inshaAllah Azza Jalla. The first question is from Brother Ahmed from the USA. He says in his question, is it permissible to a sheikh to prescribe adhkar that was not prescribed by the Prophet ﷺ himself? Adhkar is a praiseworthy act, is highly recommended in the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ to keep your tongue busy with the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Adh-dhikr, to celebrate the praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it is of two types. There is prescribed adhkar and there are mutlaq al-dhikr. Prescribed adhkar such as particular dhikr or phrase or invocation to be recited in certain number of times at a certain time or a certain place. So when it comes to the prescribed adhkar, we are so much limited to recite them according to the prescription of the Prophet ﷺ. Why? Because whenever the Prophet ﷺ prescribes or recommends, this is wahy. So it is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We can't do anything about it as far as the number, the occasion or the place. Such as the adhkar of the morning and the evening. Adhkar of entering the khala, the bathroom, answering the call of nature, eating, drinking, and so on. Mutlaq al-dhikr is to keep saying istighfar, takbir, tahmeed, tasbih, or invoke Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in whichever way you like by any of His beautiful names as many times as you wish, infinitely, even without counting. So there is no restriction in this regard. The restriction is with the first type. Now when somebody converts mutlaq al-dhikr, general adhkar, into restricted adhkar with a certain number or occasion, then they are required to present a proof, to say why. When you say, you need to say Al-Fatiha 7 times after the prayer, or 11 times at the graveyard. It is my right to ask you, why? Who said so? If he fails to provide you with the proof, then that should be dismissed. In this regard, I should not say it's coming from a sheikh, or coming from a big peer, or whoever. If it is not coming from the Prophet ﷺ, then I don't care. But a sheikh, an ordinary person, can remind me with the dhikr, mutlaq al-dhikr, general adhkar, by saying, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبِ. Indeed, in the remembrance of Allah, hearts do find rest. So increase making salah and taslim upon the Prophet ﷺ. For example, increase making tasbih or tahmeed. Increase saying La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah without a certain number or time. In this case, this is a type of encouraging and reminding us of mutlaq al-dhikr. But it is not permissible for any person to prescribe certain number of adhkar at a certain time or place which have not been prescribed by the Prophet ﷺ, because this is considered the typical innovation. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Fatima from Bahrain.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Go ahead, Sister Fatima.
Sheikh,
Naam.
I have a question that when during prayer we say Attihadulillah wa Salat, that we say, right? Was it a conversation between Allah and Rasulullah which took place in Isra al-Miraj? Like, I heard that the angels were the one who said Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. I want to know its authenticity.
Okay. Second question.
So that's the only question.
Okay. Thank you, Fatima. Barakallah fikum. Now, At-Tahiyyatu, plural of greetings. It is prescribed in the Durood Sharif by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then transmitted to us to recite At-Tahiyyat. As far as the circumstances of prescribing At-Tahiyyat and who said what and who replied to what, I'm not aware of. But it is prescribed, it's a must to be recited in the first and the last tashahhud. In the first one, up to وَأَشْهَدُ أَنَّ مُحَمَّدًا عَبْدُهُ وَرَسُولُهُ. Then in the last one, you recite it fully, including Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, which is known as As-Salatu al-Ibrahimiyya. Sending the peace and the blessings upon the Prophet ﷺ in the Abrahamic fashion, because you say, send the peace and the blessings upon Muhammad and the family of Muhammad ﷺ, as you did send your peace and blessings upon Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and his family. And it is recommended to be recited throughout the time if you can. Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Abdul Kareem from the KSA.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yes, Sheikh. I have 3 questions.
Naam.
The first question being, for the birth of a son, we are supposed to sacrifice 2 goats, right? For doing the aqiqah as we do.
Naam.
So, is it possible that we delay this till up to 6 months or 8 months after the birth, because probably the father is jobless and because of the financial conditions?
Okay.
And also, the meat, is it supposed to be distributed in the poor, or we can just have it among the relatives and make party out of those meat, whatever we get from those 2 things?
No. Thank you, Sister Abdul Kareem. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Sahar from the USA. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Go ahead, sister.
Yes, I have 2 questions. They're actually kind of like the same questions, but can you briefly explain the shirk in love, like loving somebody too much, and shirk in fear, fearing something or somebody too much?
Okay.
Can you explain these 2 things?
Sure. Barakallahu feeki. Any other questions? طيب. With regards to al-aqiqah, it is an emphatic sunnah. The Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith, كل مولود مرتهن بعقيقته تعق عنه يوم سابعه, which means every child is mortgaged to his aqiqah. Mortgaged in what sense? His safety, his intelligence, his health, his whatever is mortgaged to his aqiqah. Then it is highly recommended to haste to offer the aqiqah if you can afford it. Okay? Even if it is a wajib and you cannot afford it, then you're exempt. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Surah Al-Baqarah. Allah does not ordain anything on any person beyond their capacity. Since your husband is jobless, you can postpone the aqiqah until you're perfectly able to slaughter or distribute 2 sheep. As far as the format of distributing the 2 sheep, is it better to give it to distant people, or is it okay to invite family members and poor and friends and make a feast? Either way, and even if you were to distribute the raw meat, it's also recommended to send to your relatives and family members. This is similar to the udhiyah, similar to the hajj. You eat from it, you give to relatives, to neighbors, to friends, even if they're rich. It's not limited to the poor. And of course, you invite or give meat to the poor as well. It is one of the means of giving thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for blessing you with a child. Sister Sahar from the USA said, can you explain how could shirk be done? How could a person get involved in shirk, in love and fear? There are many ayat in the Quran and ahadith indicating that it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the only one who is our protector, our guide, and accordingly we should resort to Him, we should seek help only from Him, in addition to many ahadith in this regard. I would like just to refer to one hadith in which the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said to Abdullah ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, that you have to understand that, and you have to be acknowledged that if all mankind got together to benefit you with anything which Allah did not ordain for you, they will not be able to. And if all nations got together to harm you with anything which was not preordained for you, they will not be able to. So you should not be afraid of anyone but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the hadith in which the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى أكون أحب إليه من ماله وولده ونفسه والناس أجمعين, which means none of you will become a perfect believer until I will become dearer to him in his wealth, his family, all mankind, and including himself. So when Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anh made this remark, and he said, by Allah, you are dearer to me than anything and everything, but not more than myself. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, not yet, which means you have not achieved the perfect iman yet. So Umar ibn Khattab in essence said, why Allah, O Prophet of Allah, you are dearer to me than my own self. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam remarked saying, Al-ana ya Umar, now we have achieved the perfect iman. No one should be loved more than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or even close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A person can get involved in shirk, for instance, when he puts hope in somebody that he can take him out of hardship or difficulty more than Allah, or better than Allah. So his mind will be directed towards that person. Ibrahim alayhi salam was tested with regards to his only son, that to show you the kind of test and the kind of love which could mislead a person. When Ibrahim alayhi salam was given his only child at the age of 86 years old, and he loved him so much, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tested him. Now he gave preference to Allah's love over what his heart desired. It is natural to love your son, but it becomes much greater when your son, you've been given this child, the only child, after many years of waiting and after reaching senility and knowing that your wife is naturally sterile. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed you with the child, whether the first child Ismail from Hajar or the second from Sarah, Isaac. Ibrahim alayhi salam did not hesitate to prove that his love to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was given preference and was much more important than his love to his only son. And that's why he did not even think about the command. Likewise, when his son grew up. So that can be practiced in our today's life when the child wants something which is haram, and the father knows it is displeasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but he does it because he loves his son or daughter so much. So where is your love to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Let me give you an example. The daughter loves to buy a certain outfit, revealing, tight jeans, blouses, or whatever. If she doesn't have access to the money, she won't buy it. And who would give her the money? The father, the parents. The father is religiously committed, and he loves Allah, or this is what he claims. Okay? But because he loves his daughter so much, he bends the rules. And he puts his love to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inferior to his love to his daughter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't like anyone to be loved in your heart more than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Which means, if your love to anyone happen to contradict your love to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then right away your love to Allah should take precedence, should come first, should set the rules. And that will be obvious in your practical applications in every decision you make in your life. Also with regards to fear, likewise, fear is a natural habit. We fear danger, we fear accidents, we fear oppressors, yes. But with that, you have to understand that nothing can harm you in the heavens nor in the earth except by Allah's leave. So that gives you an assurance. Whatever befalls you is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not because of this person or the other person. These are all means. That's why we say in the morning and in the evening, بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. In the name of Allah, whom with whose name nothing can harm in the heavens nor on earth, and He is all hearer, all knowing. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Saba from Canada.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Sister Saba, I can hear you.
Okay. Brother, I'm calling from Canada. I'm from Sister Saba here.
No.
I have a question. It's regarding one of my friends. She is baby.
Naam. You lost connection, Sister Saba. I can hear you. Okay. Please try again, Sister Saba. We'll be more than happy to collect your call one more time, inshallah. Rivizi Hassan Muhammad from Oman says in his question, is there a hadith that stated that after the Imam makes taslim during the Friday prayers, that we should recite Surah Al-Fatiha 7 times? No, there is no such hadith. Accordingly, doing so will be an act of innovation. That means we will not be rewarded the least reward for such practice. No, you will not be rewarded. Rather, by doing this practice, you will be encountering a sin of making an innovation. But this is Quran, correct. Remember, I answered in the earlier question about mutlaq al-dhikr. I can recite Surah Al-Fatiha 10,000 times if I want to. Now, when I prescribe Surah Al-Fatiha to be recited in certain number of times, at a certain time, and I'm lacking a reference, a sound proof, in this occasion it becomes an innovation, and the person who does it will receive no reward for it. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said in the hadith, "Man ahdatha fi amrina hada ma laysa minhu fahuwa radd," which means whoever innovates anything, any new tradition, in this matter of ours, in this religion, it will be rejected. Abdullah Kirk from the USA, Abdullah says that he reverted to Islam, and he says, I proposed to a woman whose father doesn't seem to care about my religious belief. Rather, he only cares that I am a professional in my field. What is your advice? Whenever a father receives a proposal, there is an advice by the Prophet ﷺ as how to behave towards it. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم said, إذا جاءكم من ترضون دينه وأمانته فزوجوه. Whoever proposes to you, يعني to marry your daughter or the girl who happen to be under your guardianship, whom you trust his religious commitment, his manners, his trustworthiness, then he is eligible to marry. So facilitate such marriage. Do not be an obstacle on the way of them getting married. If the father knows you're already religiously committed, and furthermore he's asking about your career and what do you do for living, especially as I read in your question, you're an expat, يعني you're from the US, you're a revert, and you want to marry this girl in another country, it is his right to verify the future of his daughter. But if you mean that he doesn't care about religion and so on, what about the daughter? What about the girl whom you're proposing to her? So if you agree with me that the family is not religious at all, I would turn to you and I say, why do you propose to her? Why do you go to such house and you want to marry from them? But if the family is religious and you happen to hear these questions from the father, they should not hurt you. Simply, it is the father's right to verify the security and the future of his daughter. In addition to, by the end, it's a matter of ijab and qabul. If you pray istikhara and you're not happy with the whole thing altogether, just change your mind and seek another girl in marriage. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Muhammad from the KSA.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, I have two questions.
Naam.
What is the difference between Salatul Ishraq and Salatul Duha?
Okay.
Second question, should Salatul Ishraq be prayed only if we sit continuously in the Mus'haf from Fajr till sunrise, or we can just engage in a work and then till the time, when the time comes we can pray?
No, I didn't get the last part of your question.
Should Salatul Istikhara be prayed only if we sit continuously in the Mus'haf from Fajr to sunrise, or we can engage in our daily works and then when the time comes we can pray the Salah?
In your repeat, you said Salatul Istikhara. Do you really mean asking about Salatul Istikhara or again Al-Ishraq? Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum. Brother Misbah from Canada. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, brother.
How are you?
Brother, I have a question.
Naam.
You know, from Surah Al-Baqarah, last ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Anta maulana fansurna ala al-qawm al-kafirin.
Naam.
And the meaning is, you are the protector, help us from the disbelieving people. Here we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying about himself that he is the maulana, that is the protector. But nowadays, or before too, many of the countries, those people who go to the madrasa and the Islamic school have their degree from their madrasa, and they have the title Maulana. I don't know, being a human and the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how we get the title. There is a confusion about.
There is no confusion.
That, please.
There is no confusion, Brother Misbah. Inshallah, I will explain to you. We just have to take a short break. Inshallah, I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Please stay tuned.
Reading the Quran is a blessing. Understanding its translation is beautiful. but diving in depth and extracting pearls from it is simply amazing. Do they not ponder upon the Quran? Every week, inshallah, we will dig deep and reflect on the verses of the Quran one by one.
Quran in Depth with Sheikh Ibrahim Zaidan, only on Huda TV.
يا ذا الجلال والإكرام يا حي يا قيوم لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إنا كنا من الظالمين اللهم أحسن عاقبتنا في الأمور كلها وأجرنا من خزي الدنيا وعذاب الآخرة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم أصلح لنا ديننا الذي هو عصمة أمرنا وأصلح لنا دنيانا التي فيها معاشنا وأصلح لنا آخرتنا التي إليها معادنا واجعل الحياة زيادة لنا في كل خير واجعل الموت راحة لنا من كل شر.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We have some callers on the line. Saifullah from the KSA. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. I have two questions.
Naam.
Wa alaikum assalam. One is about Salatul
At-Tasabih.
Tahiyatul Masjid.
Tahiyatul Masjid. I missed it by a mile. No
Hello?
problem. Naam, I hear you, brother Saifullah. Tahiyatul Masjid, the greeting of the Masjid.
Hello?
I hear you, go ahead.
Yeah, it should be prayed only where in Masjid where a Jummah prayer conducts.
Okay.
Or in any Masjid we call Musalla.
Okay. Any other questions?
The second question about riba. In Quran, it is mentioned, as of my knowledge, nobody has the right to convert what Allah has prohibited, made haram, into halal, and the same what Allah made halal, as nobody has the right to say haram. In this context, nowadays, I hear sheikhs, some people say, the money which we are deposited in money, from that what we get an interest as an interest, this can be utilized for any other purpose. Is it?
I got your question.
Can you just confirm about in Sharia?
Okay, I got your question, brother Saifullah. Thank you. Brother Ashfaq from the KSA is next on the line.
Rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Go ahead.
How are you? Alhamdulillah. Sheikh, I have this is regarding the question which recently just now Muhammad asked about the Salatul Ishraq and the Salatul Duha.
No.
He's asking what is the difference between Salatul Ishraq and Duha.
I got
Suppose if a person prays Ishraq, he doesn't have to pray Duha.
Okay.
And the second thing what he asked is, But for Ishraq, do we have to sit only at the place and read? Do we have to offer the salat? Or we can come back home and then offer this?
Okay, now the second question is clear. Thank you so much. Barakallah fi. Jazakallah khair. Let me answer this question right away. Because it is the question to be answered in order. What is the difference between Ishraq and Duha? Ishraq is sunrise, and Duha is the forenoon, which happens after sunrise. And basically, Ishraq and Duha refer to the same thing, which the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam have mentioned in many occasions and recommended in many ahadith. For instance, the hadith which is narrated by Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, in which he said, أوصاني خليلي بثلاث. My best companion advised me to do three things and to keep doing those three things. One of them was ركعتي الضحى, the two rak'ahs of duha or the forenoon. How to pray them, when to pray them, what are the virtues of praying duha, and so on, have been explained in other hadith. Second hadith, in which will answer your second question. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, whoever prays Fajr in Jama'ah, then remains in his musalla in the same place where he offered the Fajr prayer in Jama'ah, to make adhkar, to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, either by making adhkar of the regular adhkar, the morning adhkar, or reciting Quran, or attending a halqa in the same place, until it is sunrise. Then offers two rak'ahs of ad-duha, that's also Ishraq. He will receive the reward of performing a complete Hajj and Umrah. So now we figured the timing as the beginning, and the virtues applies to who will get such reward, those who will attend the Fajr prayer in Jama'ah. And furthermore, they will stand still in the same place, occupied with dhikr, Quran, or adhkar, or istighfar, until sunrise. When exactly the timing? It begins 15 minutes post sunrise. Why? Because we are not allowed to offer any prayer between Fajr prayer and until the 15 minutes past sunrise, because this is called dislike time to offer unnecessary prayer or voluntary prayers. So, from this hadith we understand Salatul Duha is a highly recommended sunnah. Some people said it's emphatic sunnah, some people said it is mere mustahab, mere recommended. And I agree with the latter opinion. It's highly recommended, especially when you know that in a fourth hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, على كل سلامة في كل يوم صدقة وتسبيحة صدقة وتحميدة صدقة وتكبيرة صدقة. Every joint the person has in his body, you owe one of the thanks and gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for it, by giving in a charity. So saying subhanallah is an act that you can give thanks to Allah through tahmid, takbir, saying alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah, removing a hazard material from the path of people. It's a charity. And the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, it will be sufficient and comprehensive to offer two rak'ahs of the forenoon, rak'atay duha. It has been always mentioned in the sunnah as duha, 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 which refers to after sunrise, which you guys call it in Urdu ishraq. Okay? Salatul duha is what you refer to as Salatul Ishraq. So we learn the virtues, the necessity, the timing, and what is the exact best time. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said in one hadith, حين ترمض الفصال, the baby camels standing on a burning sand on midday before the sun moves away from its median, when it's really, really hot, they keep lifting their hooves. So an hour before Dhuhr is the best time. That if you did not pray it after Fajr and after sitting for the dhikr until sunrise. You can pray in the earliest time and in the later time if you want to. And the total number is 8 rak'ahs, and the least is 2 rak'ahs. It will be sufficient to earn such a reward which have been promised in the hadith. Barakallahu fikum. Now with Misbah from Canada. Brother Misbah says the last ayah of Surah Al-Baqarah, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين, which literally means, Misbah, you are our protector, our guardian, our guard, our guide, you are our Mawla. فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين, since you are all of that, then give us victory over the disbelieving people. So he said, there are some madrasas where people call the Sheikh Mawla, Mawlana. It's right. Mawlana means our guide, our protector, our teacher, our master, our eldest person. For instance, it's a word of respect for those who have favors upon us, such as our teachers, our shuyukh, and so on. And this one has meaning different than the meaning which is exclusively for Allah when we say Anta Mawlana. In Surah Al-Baqarah as well, after Ayat Al-Kursi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, two ayat afterward, Allahu waliyyu alladhina amanu. Allah is the protector, the guard, the guide of the believers. يخرجهم من الظلمات إلى النور. He takes them out of darkness into light. والذين كفروا أولياؤهم الطاغوت يخرجونهم من النور إلى الظلمات. While is the disbelievers, their guides, their protectors, their friends, in plural. There are many. Al-Taghut, any deity that is worshipped instead of Allah, they take them out of light into darkness. Okay. So this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does to the believers as a wali, creator, sustainer, provider, guide, protector, guard. That is the meaning of wali when it comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتُ بَعْضُهُمْ أَوْلِيَاءُ بَعْضٍ. What does it mean? And the believing men and women are awliya, plural of wali. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described that the believers should be awliya to one another, protectors and helpers to one another. How? يأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر. They enjoin each other to what is right and they forbid against evil. ويقيمون الصلاة ويؤتون الزكاة ويطيعون الله ورسوله. They offer the prayer, they pay the zakah, and they obey Allah and His Messenger. أولئك سيرحمهم الله إن الله عزيز حكيم. Such Allah will have mercy on them. He is the Almighty, the most wise. Great. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala actually prescribed for the believers that they should be awliya, wali to one another. Yeah. So using the word wali in that context is perfectly fine. Is perfectly fine. There is no problem. Because it does not mean that I resort to him as if he is God, or he is my guide, or he is my provider. No, he is the one who guides me on a scale of teaching, of learning, answering my questions, teaching me my religion. What else? In Surah Al-Ma'idah, يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تتخذوا اليهود والنصارى أولياء بعضهم أولياء بعض. Or you who believe, do not take al-Yahud and Nasara, Jews and Christians, as awliya here, plural of wali. Wali as protectors, as guards. Right? They do that to each other. They would not do that to you. I disagree with the translation which means friends. Okay? It doesn't mean that. We are allowed to cooperate, help each other, to benefit from each other even though we have different faith. لا ينهاكم الله عن الذين لم يقاتلوكم في الدين ولم يخرجوكم من دياركم أن تبروهم وتقسطوا إليهم إن الله يحب المقسطين. We went through this before. So now, brother Misbah, there is no problem for using this word when you mean, well, I mean my wali, my teacher, my guide, my instructor, my sheikh, no problem. And it does not apply to the same meaning of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Take also this ayah, ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ مَوْلَى الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَأَنَّ الْكَافِرِينَ لَا مَوْلَى لَهُمْ. This walaya, which is exclusively for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the guidance, the protection, and guarding. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Fatima from the KSA.
Alaikum assalam. My father has been diagnosed with cancer that's in its advanced stage. And we have been told that there is a sheikh in Saudi Arabia who has cured people who've had this type of cancer. I think he uses a combination of ruqya and Islamic medicine. My question is it possible for us to seek such treatment?
I disagree. Before I even answer your question, I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give your father a quick recovery. May Allah give him shifa. This dua benefits most. Not because it's from me, but we are encouraged to pray for each other. And I hope that many of the audience who will be very righteous will say Ameen and pray for him, so he will benefit from their dua even though they're anonymous. We don't know them. That is the thing which would help most, inshaAllah Azza Jal. So may Allah give him a quick shifa, recovery, and so on, and give you and him patience. As far as going to one person because he cures, I disagree with that statement. And no one cures. And particularly, when you say that there is an oncologist who gives radiation or chemo, he utilizes the medical means to treat the disease, and he is known of being very professional, no problem, go to him. But saying that there is a sheikh who cures such disease, I disagree with this statement. If you remember the hadith of the boy and the king, when the boy was blessed with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the power of giving cure by Allah's leave. So the courtier of the king came to him and he was blind. And he said, all those gifts are yours and plenty more if you cure me. He said, I cure no one. It is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who cures. You simply have to ask from Allah and I will pray for you. Also claiming that there is one person that every person goes to him and he prays for him and he gets cured instantly, I disagree with that as well. That was only the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But seeking dua from any person whom you assume that he is righteous, that may have given shifa, as we agreed from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ibrahim alayhi salam said in the Quran, وَإِذَا مَرِضْتُ فَهُوَ يَشْفِينَ. If I know that there will be a righteous person whom I can ask to give, to make dua for me or for others for shifa, why not? No problem. But again, I'm confirming, there is no person who has this power of shifa where people will go to him and he will do whatever and cure people all the time. That is not true. Saifullah from the KSA. Tahiyatul Masjid, or the greeting of the masjid, applies to every masjid where we offer the 5 daily prayers. We should not sit before making the 2 rak'ahs of Tahiyatul Masjid. Also his second question with regards to riba, and I believe he was referring to some ayat in the Quran. From his question, I figured that he may be referring to the ayah in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَأَحَلَّ اللَّهُ الْبَيْعَ وَحَرَّمَ الرِّبَى. In Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah has made business transaction lawful, while riba He has prohibited. فَمَنْ جَاءَهُ مَوْعِظَةٌ مِّن رَبِّهِ فَانْتَهَى فَلَهُ مَا سَلَفَ أَمْرُهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ. And it is not permissible for any to make the lawful unlawful or make the unlawful lawful. I agree 100%. Then he says that there are some shaykh who say that you can take the interest which is generated on your saving account and give it away. This is not legitimizing the prohibited or making the haram halal. Again, I would like to confirm, if one has a chance to save his money in an Islamic bank or any place, then it is not permissible to put his money even in a saving account in a conventional bank, because your money is not going to be sitting somewhere in the corner of the safe waiting for you. Rather, it will be circulated, used to lend money to others and charge them interest on that. And your money could be used in doing haram business as well, because the whole process is haram. Okay? So in this case, resorting to a conventional bank is limited to a necessity. What if there is an interest on the money that is deposited in these conventional banks? Knowing that your money, it is not yours, but generated on the money that you deposited in the conventional bank, will be given to maybe missionary organizations or whatever, maybe used against you. Why not take this money which is not yours and give it away? It is not a charity. It's only disposing this money in a way that we know for sure it is not harmful. You will not be rewarded as giving in a charity, rather you're getting rid of the haram. But remember, earlier we mentioned, you're not allowed to deposit your money in such conventional bank unless if there is no other alternative. Sharia protects your wealth. So you're not allowed to save your money under your pillow, if it is something valuable, of course, and expose it to theft or destruction. In this case, deposit it in this bank and get rid of the interest. By that, we come to the end of today's edition. But before I wrap it up, I would like to remind you with regards to sister, our young viewer from Bahrain, Fatima, when she brought up the story of the tashahhud, and there was a dialogue between Allah and the messenger and the angels, blah, blah, blah. And I said there is no such thing. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people who fabricate plenty of stories behind many things in our deen. So I applaud the idea of asking and inquiring about it. For years, even though I studied in Al-Azhar, since I was young, many teachers taught us that the pigeons laid eggs on the opening of the cave of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and there was no such thing. So why do we have to invent stories? Why do we have to fabricate things? Why do we already have the miracle? It's a miracle without adding these additives, which people put on their own. Simply, the hadith is narrated by Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, said that the Prophet ﷺ taught me how to recite the tashahhud. And this is how we learn التشهد التحيات لله والصلاة والطيبات. Any incident you are in doubt with its background, any hadith which you're not sure whether it's sound or fabricated, you can consult us and simply we'll verify it. And inshallah we'll discuss it with you. Brothers and sisters, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teach us what we don't know and guide and inspire us to follow the guidance of Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam and keep us steadfast on the straight path. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test.